Hey there, Gail. Thank you so much for ordering a reading. I really appreciate it. And so I have your question here. Well, not really a question, but you put in the notes, I think I'm at a crossroads, not sure where to turn right now. I'm at an age where I should not be worried, but I am. Hoping you can help me big time. Thank you. And you are born January 19th, 1959. So let's see what is going on for you. Basically, what I do for these readings, for the Wheel of the Year readings, or the Wheel of the 6 months, I should say, is that I pull 12 playing cards, 12 tarot cards, one for each house in astrology, because this gives us, obviously, a total overview of everything that could be going on for you. I haven't looked at the cards. I deal them face down. I've only looked at the first two here, obviously, of your first house, but I deal them face down. So, again, these readings are always a surprise for me as well. But what we're going to do is we're just going to work our way through each house, see what comes up, and then at the end, we're gonna lay all the cards out, and we're gonna see anything else that also comes up, outside of the the houses in astrology. Basically, let's see if anything else kind of grabs our attention. But anyway, let's just get started. Enough chitter chatter, right? We have the Four of Diamonds coming up in your first house. First house, of course, is the house of you, the house of the self. Your appearance to other people, the first impressions you make on other people, and it's also the house of beginnings. Starting new things, and also the house of your attitude, your emotions, your not really your emotions, but your personality is the word that I was really looking for. And you have the Four of Diamonds, a very good card. It's funny that you say you're at a crossroads and all this other stuff, and this card represents newness. Four of Diamonds to me is a card that represents new. Just new. That's it. New things coming into your life, new opportunities. It's even a card of moving. Again, in the first house, that really, not necessarily a card of moving, but it could be. And but it's mostly a card of stability and being stable this year. So again, things kind of right off the bat already look good. Even your next card here, your tarot card for this house, is actually very positive as well. It's definitely one that I like to see. So this card represents stability, like I said, and newness. Great card for money, by the way. Promotions, promotion abilities, things like that. Sometimes I think when the Four of Diamonds comes up in the first house, I think that it can represent, needing to kind of like step up into your own strength, needing to do things kind of more on your own. I would say probably about like 20% of the people right now are becoming like truly independent. Like a lot of people say that they're independent, but that they don't really know what that word means. I hear people all the time say they're independent, but then they're talking about how they desperately are in need of a relationship. It's like, that's not independent. You can be independent and still be in a relationship, but again, needing something is not being independent. So again, this is a great card of independence, of being truly free, developing that in yourself. Next, you have the Six of Cups, also in your first house. Six of Cups is a card of like innocence, nostalgia. Being able to kind of look back on things. It's a card of like fun and good things coming to you. Also can be a card of growth. But not only that, I like this card because it represents being able to do things that you have wanted to do in the past, and maybe have even tried to do, and but haven't gotten anywhere. Basically, it can represent kind of like trying things that you've wanted to do that have not worked. So really great card. And it's a card of like fun, and entertainment. Maybe even being able to have the freedom to have entertainment. I've talked about this a little bit on the channel, just like in general, that people haven't been able to have fun for quite some time. We've been going through these very interesting Capricorn cycles. Even this full moon was in Capricorn. Saturn will be entering into Capricorn at the end of the year. All this weird stuff. And Capricorn rules like orderliness, things being in order, structure, all these things that most people, don't actually like doing anyway. And so we've been going through these cycles. And I think when Saturn, even though Saturn is entering Capricorn, it's kind of like the beginning. I also think it's the end. I think it's the end of these like crazy weird Capricorn cycles, which I think have been preventing us from being able to have fun. And Capricorn's like the goat climbing the mountain, right? So I think for many years, a lot of people have been feeling that, like climbing the mountain type of energy. This is the change, the turnaround in you, because again, it's your first house. So we're off to a good start, like I said. Next, in your second house rules your possessions, earned income, things that you value, your values in general, and a little bit kind of your daily routines. It's weird. A lot of astrologers consider the second house to be, like I said, values, earned income, and things that you like find beautiful, even, and some consider a house of daily routines. To me, really, your sixth house is the house of daily routines, but again, they both have a little bit to do with your daily routines. But again, mostly second house, money and values. You have the Jack of Clubs. Jack of Clubs, very good card of looking into the future, planning for the future, coming up with ideas for the future as well on what you're going to do. And I would say also, and again, we're going to have to see what comes up at the end, right? We're going to have to see, kind of everything together. But this is all about having a plan. It's funny that I just said that, Saturn and Capricorn, all about orderliness and being in order and things like that. It's kind of weird. We've been dealing with Saturn and Sagittarius, also very difficult. I think Saturn and Sagittarius, where it is right now, is probably the hardest. It puts a lot of restriction on us. And then Saturn's going to enter into Capricorn. If we really wanted to generalize, if we really wanted to simplify these things, then Saturn and Capricorn would represent orderliness. Like I said, needing to put things into order. So what do we need to learn? What are we supposed to learn here? And what does it have to do with you? Well, it has to do with this card here. And what it has to do with is that, again, Saturn and Sagittarius restriction, Saturn and Capricorn orderliness. So it's teaching us to do more with less in a lot of ways, and also to be to get our lives in order, to get things in order. This is a card of order, and it's a card of setting goals and things like that. People are learning things, and people are. Let me just back up and tell you a story. It might sound stupid, but again, maybe it'll help you here with this. Because again, I'm having trouble verbalizing the message. But anyway, I'm obsessed with fish, right? Obviously, my channel's called Minnopond. But I loved to have fish tanks when I was a kid. I had 10 fish tanks in my room. It was crazy, and and I've always had multiple fish tanks, right? And now, what I've decided this year is that I only want to have one, and I want to make it really, really nice, and and just only take care of that one thing. And again, it has to do with Saturn, the restriction of only having one thing that you really want, and then Capricorn, orderliness, making it the best looking tank that I've ever had, right? So again, I don't know what that message has to do with you, but it was kind of coming in, so I'm gonna deliver it, and maybe it will help spark something inside of you, but I'm trying to do this in all areas of my life. I'm trying to simplify things and make things easier. I think that could help you. Jack of Clubs. I'm spending a lot of time on it because it's a very important card. It's a very good card as well, but it does represent simplifying things, breaking things down into tiny little pieces, and kind of moving forward in the future in that way. And again, this is happening in your second house. Doing those things could increase your earnings, could increase your money that's coming in. This is also a card of paying attention to what's important. What's funny is that this card comes up a lot for people who have businesses, for example. This card will come up and people will be like, oh, I'm not making a lot of money. I'm sure you've heard of the 80-20 rule, where 80% of your income comes from 20% of your work, or 20% of your products in your store, or something like that, right? This is that card right here. This is a card, as far as finances are concerned, of looking at what's truly bringing in money, looking at what's truly bringing in finances for you, and if there isn't something, then finding something to do, but only focusing on the really important thing. Again, I think maybe that's why I told you that fish tank story, because again, I feel like maybe things are scattered right now, and this is a card of really focusing on one thing that's important, making it perfect, and having that be kind of the thing that brings you in money, or again, brings more beauty into your life. Again, second house has to do with beauty as well. Things that you find beautiful. Maybe that's why I told the story. I don't know. Like I said, who knows, right? Why I tell these stories. Next, you have the Ten of Swords in your second house here. Again, definitely having dealt with a lot of difficulties. I mean, it can represent loss, crisis in finances, defeat, and things like that. So it can definitely represent having gone through a lot of difficulties financially, and having had a lot of challenges there. You were born in 59. You have, so I think, if I'm not mistaken, you probably have Chiron and Pisces. We have Chiron and Pisces right now. Chiron and Pisces people, 59, let's see. Again, don't quote me on that. I happen to know, I think it's 59 to like 69 or something like that. Again, you might want to look at your birth chart, and again, if Chiron is close to Pisces, then again, you're going to be feeling this energy. But a lot of people who were born 59 through 60s, again, have Chiron and Pisces, and Chiron and Pisces is about learning how to take, learning how to accept. Chiron and Pisces says that in a past life that you gave too much. You gave too much of yourself. This goes for always, in all ways of your life. And it says that you are here to learn how to accept things, And it's funny because I deal with like a lot of people who were born right around your time, And even my parents. I mean, my dad was born in 59. My mom was born in 60. And, even my parents, I see this in them. They both have Chiron and Pisces. And Chiron's a generational planet, by the way. It deals with generations. So it makes sense. But they both give. They were both givers, they give too much. Even still, even though, I've done their charts and things like that, right? And I've told them to stop, and that they need to learn how to accept. They need to learn how to take things. And again, I think that this Ten of Swords. By the way, I'm probably going to do that this entire reading. I apologize. I'm probably going to call both cards the wrong things, but this Ten of Swords is a card that represents, needing to learn how to take so that you don't get defeated, so that you don't get lost. Here's the good news about this card. It represents the end. Tens in tarot represent completion. They represent the ending of these cycles. They represent the ending of these challenges. They represent moving forward from these challenges. So it is a good card. Definitely a card, like I said, definitely a very difficult card, having been through a very difficult time. But it represents, like I said, the ending. Next, in your third house rules communications, your immediate environment, siblings, neighbors, and your community, even your friends a little bit, can have a little bit to do with your friends. You have the Six of Hearts. Again, you have the Six of Cups. Six of Cups and Six of Hearts are pretty much the same card. This card represents a turnaround in energy in those areas, and, could even be improving communications. I would say that, by the way, just like a little bit of a side note here, this year we have Jupiter in Libra as well, and so it's really good year to learn how to communicate. Learn how to improve your communications in all ways. So that could be, learning how to sell, learning how to negotiate, learning how to develop more charisma. Like all these types of things are highlighted under Jupiter and Libra. And we get rewarded for doing these things. You still have a few months where you could do this. So again, it doesn't matter if you haven't taken advantage of this yet. Learning how to public speak, anything like that would be very beneficial to you. This is a card of gaining skills, but it's also a great card of luck. And like I said, turnaround in energy. You have these two turnaround cards. You say you're at a crossroads, but you have these, two great cards of turning around. So I definitely like to see that. Sixes, the other thing I will say, and you have another six coming up here in your next house. So I definitely like to see this because sixes represent being on the right path. They're basically the only card that has a straight path down the middle. So they represent going on. They say that you are going the right direction. You are doing the right things that you need to do. You also have the Three of Swords in your Three of Swords. Nine of Swords in your third house, and the Nine of Swords can represent things like desperation, anxiety, fears, despair, feeling all of these things. I do think that you need to definitely, and I'm looking at the card because I like to see, what messages kind of jump out for me here. I do think you need to let go of some of your fears and things like that, and need to let go of your, some of your worries, and I think that you will as well. Nines represent almost completion. Basically, they represent something coming into existence in your life, and so again, don't make your fears real. It can say that you've been through some very scary times as well. I mean, it can say that those fears are there for for a reason. Those are there, because something happened. Also a card of maybe you need to talk to somebody. Maybe you just need to talk to somebody about your worries and your fears. Maybe you need to seek professional help, talk to a friend. It doesn't matter. Because this can be a card of also like letting it out can free it, can get it, can help you move forward in many ways. So that is definitely what I would do with this card for sure. Next, in your fourth house, of course, is the house of the home, right? And where we live. and also your family roots, like, where your family comes from and things like that. You have the Six of Spades. Six of Spades represents fate. And, it's a great card. Like I said, you have several sixes now. Definitely like to see that. Represents fate and momentum. Things picking up in your life. So I definitely like to see that. And in your 4th house, it can represent things picking up at home. Seeing some changes at home. Seeing some momentum at home. And all of that. I think through focus. By the way, this card represents focus. Remember, it's funny that I said orderliness. This happens every single one of these readings that I do, by the way. I mean, really, I say that these are like a half an hour long, but I probably, sum up the message in like 15 minutes. Not even, right? Probably like a minute. But you have the 7 of Cups here, needing to focus, needing to develop some sort of orderliness. So again, if you're working on a business, a job, trying to start a business, trying to start some sort of focus in your life in general, this card says focus. 7 of Cups is a card of like illusion, fantasy, and like imagination. It's like a good bad card, I would call it, because in a lot of ways it's very creative. You can even see this guy here. He's like painting, something here. It's a very creative card, having a lot of creativity, being very creative. But on a traditional deck, this card, there's like a guy on the card, and he's got the 7 cups in front of him, and they all have something different inside each cup, and it represents just needing to pick one thing. Needing to really focus. Again, I feel like orderliness, again, that is not a word that I use ever, and the word popped into my head at the beginning of your reading, so, when I was talking about it earlier. So I do think that will help you as well, making things in order, putting things in order, creating some order out of chaos somewhere. I do believe that could help you out a lot. And again, especially if you're like trying to pick like a business to do, a job to do, or trying to pick like a focus or something, I think that this could help you, just focusing in on one thing, and feeling like there's a right or wrong. There is no right or wrong. Again, that message just popped into my head. So again, maybe you feel like there is, between all your choices that you have, maybe you feel like there is a right or wrong. I don't think it matters what you choose. Just pick something, because this card says there is no right or wrong. Just pick one and make it your focus and make it perfect. I would encourage you to, again, if you are at a literal crossroads trying to make decisions between things to do, 4 of Diamonds very, very clearly asks us to pick what is new. And again, you were born in 59. Again, it seems to be a generational thing. Again, that a bunch of people in your generation seem to be, that I read for, which is a majority of the people I read for, by the way, seem to get this message of needing to pick what is new, pick what is different, pick the new path. It's funny because right before I did your reading, every single morning I do my weekly readings basically for the next week. So I just finished the first half of my weekly readings. Tomorrow I do the second half, but I just finished my first half of next week's weekly readings, and I was telling somebody about, I was telling one of the signs, I can't remember who, but I was telling one of the signs about needing to, pick what is new, needing to kind of pick a new path, because that's where the success will be. But what I was also talking about, that's what I meant to say, is that that people who are born in your generation seem to almost be picking another career path as well. Like could be starting a brand new career, could be starting a side business or something that they do from home. And it seems like a lot of people are doing that. Again, and it comes up in the cards as well. So not necessarily your cards yet, but it comes up in the cards in general, for people in general, basically. Next, in your 5th house is house of romance, play, self-expression, creativity. I call it the house of pursuit of pleasure. It's really, to me, it's a house of hobbies, taking risks, and a house of like doing things that we enjoy. That's why I say hobbies, But you have the King of Spades. This could be love in your life, if you have love in your life already. It could be a supportive spouse or something. But I really feel like this is you coming up here in a position of authority. This is a card of mastery. It's a card of gaining some sort of mastery over some sort of skill or something in your life. So again, I really think you could be learning something new, or you could be picking something, like I said, with that 7 of Cups. And this card says, pick one thing and master it. Become a master, especially in the 5th house of, hobbies and risk-taking and things. The funny thing is, this is also a card of risk-taking. It's a card of, like, taking risk to, do something that you want to do. Other than that, like I said, it could be somebody romantically in your life, and being the King of Spades, it could have been somebody who was left as well, showing up here. But you do have the Wheel of Fortune also in your 5th house. Love this card, really good. Represents a turnaround, fortune's turning in your favor. definitely. And, this could be in love, again, with the 5th house. We really have to look at your 7th house for relationships and things, because again, who knows what's going on there, but, could be a turnaround in your romantic life, could be a turnaround in your hobby life, fun life, and even your health. 5th house has a little bit to do with, like, your health and your daily routine and things like that. Like I said, a lot of people, 59 through 60s, like I said, with Chiron and Pisces returning, it's about to leave Pisces, but it's been in Pisces for the past few years. So a lot of people in that generation being hit by Chiron, Chiron is a wounded healer, has a lot to do with healing and all this other stuff, so a lot of people like that could be, dealing with health issues, but also healing those health issues as well. Just to give you an example, my dad has had, gout for a very long time, and he found out that it was had something to do with a hormone imbalance, and he's been dealing with this for years, and he finally figured it out. The doctors figured it out this year, or last year, I should say, and he's basically healed. So you could be going through healing as well, or again, you could just be putting more of some sort of focus in on your health, and if you're not, you should, because again, this represents a quick turnaround. It represents very quick results from making changes health wise. So I definitely recommend doing that. Next, in your 6th house, 6th house is excuse me, your house of daily routine, daily work, daily habits. You have the 8 of Spades. Confusion and focusing on too many things. And again, your 6th house also can have to do with health and fitness and what you do every single day. This card can represent, but again, mostly daily routine and daily work. You could be, focused on too many things. This card wants you to have a focus. Remember, orderliness. I think that's going to be very important for you. Getting things in order. Anything you want to fix, getting it in order, making it look nice and things like that. I don't know, like I said, I don't know why that's necessarily important, but I think that it is for you for some reason. And this is a card of that. What's funny is sometimes this card is called the Garden as well, and that's really standing out to me. I don't use those meanings. That meaning comes from the Lenormand card reading system. There are a couple Lenormand readers on YouTube as well, but this card's called the Garden, and it can literally represent tending to crops basically in a garden, so that you can get some sort of harvest. So I do think orderliness, a daily routine. Again, it's interesting. You have so far you have 3 6s. You have these cards of confusion, needing to have orderliness. I think, it's all leading up to you kind of having some sort of daily routine in place that could help you out a lot. That could lead to, a lot of success in your life and more success. You also have the Page of Cups is what I meant to say. Page of Cups is a card that represents, synchronicities and creativity. So yeah, a very good card and for you, and it can definitely represent more creativity coming into your life, and maybe needing to be creative on a more daily basis, on more of a routine basis. Also a card of manifestation, like creating something out of nothing basically through a daily routine. I think it also one step at a time I'm getting. So I think you just need to break things down into steps. I think that goes along with the orderliness thing, and kind of just taking that one step at a time will help you out. But I would definitely get going with some sort of daily routine. Now's the time to do it, by the way, because the sun's about to enter into Leo. Great time, great time for creating some sort of daily routine, basically. Next, where are we? Your 7th house of relationships and sharing. We have the 9 of Clubs. It represents a lot of opportunities for relationships. Again, this has to do with friendships and love relationships, both. This represents opportunities for those things to happen. And again, if you are in a relationship, it just represents opportunities for positive changes, opportunities to make some sort of change happen. In your relationships. Very good card. One of my favorite cards because it's kind of like a wish card. Kind of allows you to get something you want, kind of allows you to get something you've been wishing for. Next, you have the 5 of Cups, also here in the area of relationships. 5 of Cups says you are upset over losing something. Could be a relationship, could be a friendship, something like that. But what you need to realize is there's 2 cups standing up here. So it's all about realizing that, again, if you've lost a relationship or something, there is, more out there for you. There is somebody else out there for you at this time. And again, this could also be relationship to things as well. Maybe you feel like you've lost opportunities or chances to do things. Again, Nine of Clubs, I used to call it the card of chances because it gives us like a bunch of chances to do something or to get something that we want. So again, you still have chances here, and you're just basically not looking at them, right there. So make sure to stay open to new opportunities and new things that come your way for sure. Next, in your 8th house of intimacy, shared money, debts, insurance, commissions, sales, payouts, and things like that. You have the 10 of Spades, very similar to that 10 of Swords as well, which you had in the 2nd house. 8th house is your other money house. And so, you could be waiting for some changes in finances, could be making changes in finances. You could have, again, been through a lot of difficulties with debts and things like that, having had a lot of challenges. But the good news is this card represents death, represents those things going away, but represents those things basically leaving you at this time. Next, you have the High Priestess here in your 8th house as well. And High Priestess is a card of mystery and intuition. On one hand, it asks us to trust our intuition. So again, you might be getting a lot of intuitive answers. Sometimes I think with the High Priestess, these are like intuitive answers that we don't want to hear, that we don't want to listen to, that 5 of Cups that you just had there. So again, you might be getting a lot of answers intuitively about how to clear up debts and things, or, about what's going to happen with debts and things, or, other people's money basically, but you might not be listening to it. So make sure to pay attention to it. Also, again, it represents mystery. So it could represent you just don't know how to handle debts and taxes and things. This card says find somebody who does. Find somebody who can help you clear those things up. Although, like I said, you have a lot of these transformation cards, so I do feel like you are moving past a lot of these difficulties and a lot of these things, over the next couple years here, and or next year, I'd say. And so like I said, you have the Wheel of Fortune as well. Very good card of turnaround. So I think you'll be moving past a lot of this. Next, in your 9th house of travel, study, higher education, things like that, you have the Ace of Diamonds. Opportunity to travel, number 1, comes up in this card. You also have just wanted to see what your next card was, but opportunities to travel, also opportunities to learn. Ace of Diamonds represents education that is profitable. So, again, anything new you can learn in any area of your life, I would do that to create more stability. And again, I read for a lot of people your age, and a lot of them have said to me, I'm too old to do this, I'm too old to do that, or whatever. And I always tell people, no, you're not. Number 1, people start new careers all the time, or new businesses all the time. I think, Colonel Sanders there, KFC, he was in his 70s or something when he founded KFC. So, it happens all the time. You got plenty of time. Definitely a card of doing something new, doing something different, and making more money as well through learning something new. This doesn't even necessarily represent going back to school. It could, showing up here in your 9th house, but it could just be you reading books, or you taking some sort of course to learn something that makes you money, basically. And you also have the Knight of Swords. So again, charging forward on one of these ideas, charging forward, towards success in, through learning or something like that. This card also says, don't judge information. Again, this card can be a card of being opinionated. Not opinionated in a bad way, but just having an opinion about something and judging it. So don't judge information that comes your way. I would say that this probably has to do, for you and for everybody, this has to do with Neptune and Pisces. Neptune and Pisces is very challenging. Neptune and Pisces comes to us, it puts an idea in our head, and we're like, where the heck did that come from? And these ideas challenge our beliefs. Neptune and Pisces, it tries to balance out the world, basically. It tries to, balance, our beliefs, balance the things that we do. That's why there are so many, extreme things going on at this time. It's because, and again, I'm not political, so don't take this as a political statement, but that's why all this stuff with the media and everything like that is going on, because it's Neptune, putting in, deceit, lies, but also truth and honesty, and we have to, the trick with Neptune and Pisces, we have to learn how to tell the difference, and, through, discipline and things like that, and through truly learning, through digging down deep. We have Pluto also this year. Pluto is the detective in in the sky, basically. And we have Pluto there asking us to really dig into things. So, again, don't be afraid to dig into information and learn new things. Even if you have crazy ideas, eccentric ideas, Ace of Diamonds is about doing something innovative, new, eccentric, weird, maybe. So, follow those things. Next, in your 10th house of career and honors and fame and achievement, you have the Three of Clubs. Look at you. Second chances, getting a second chance financially, getting a second chance money-wise. I love this card, very creative. Again, you have a lot of creative things here. If you're doing something creative, working in a creative field or something like that, that would be a good idea. Anything involving, again, other fields that you could look into are anything involving communications, anything involving creativity, like I said, sales, marketing, anything like that, would also be highlighted with just what I see so far. So again, if you're looking to start a new career, if you're looking to make more money, those are the areas that I would look if I were you. But again, love this card, second chances. You really can't beat that. You also show up here, Queen of Swords, same thing. Queen of Swords, awesome. This is you. This is literally you showing up in the reading, showing up in your 10th house of career. Very good card, because again, when you show up as yourself, that puts you in a position of power, puts you in a position of strength. It really allows you to get what you want from the reading. Queens are considered the cards of influence in the tarot deck, and Queen of Swords. I'm gonna keep saying that, like I said, but Queen of Swords is the card of the quick thinker and being very perceptive and things like that. So again, trust your intuition in regards to money. Trust your quick thoughts and your wit in regards to anything career-wise or anything money-wise that you could be doing or working on. And again, focus in on one thing. I think that's going to be very important for you. Next, in your 11th house of groups, friends, social events, and it's also the house of luck as far as I'm concerned. You have the Two of Clubs. Again, this is an independent card. I think I talked about a little bit about being independent in the beginning of the reading. I think I mentioned that. And this is definitely a card of being independent and in developing more independence in your life. And so true independence where you feel good in yourself. Again, Jupiter and Libra. Like I said, there's a lot with, it's kind of hard to explain. There's a lot with Jupiter and Libra because it kind of makes us realize that, we need to be the one that, kind of makes ourselves happy, that makes ourselves, we have to do these things for ourselves, basically. Other people can't do it for us, and then once we realize that, that's when we get everything else that we need. So, very interesting, and that's what this card represents. You also have the Queen of Pentacles. Isn't that interesting? Saturn moves into Capricorn at the end of the year. This card represents Capricorn, and also, we've been going through these weird cycles with friends because of Capricorn, which is, Capricorn kind of rules our friends and social groups and things. So definitely could have a lot of changes there. Also, very good, very lucky card. Like I said, 11th house has to do with luck. So you could be having a lot of luck and a lot of new luck through groups. Again, so I'd encourage you to interact with groups. Remember at the beginning I said something about talking, I think, with people and, and get, learning how to talk and learning how to speak and things like that. That might be a really positive thing for you to do right now. And again, interacting with groups, could offer a lot of assistance towards getting things that you want. Finally, in your 12th house, you have the, which is the house of endings, healings, new beginnings, closure, spirituality, subconscious, things like that. You have the Queen of Hearts. Very good card for this house because it literally represents opening up, opening up to a new way of being, and opening up to new things coming in. Also represents returns. Like I said, you have a lot of these cards of returns. The sixes, that, and this here, in the Wheel of Fortune up here. So, a lot of cards of things returning to you, which I definitely like to see. And finally, you have the Empress, also in your 12th house. Excellent card for you. Again, weird message on this one. I'm not getting the typical message. I think this is what you're working towards, becoming the Empress, becoming, all-powerful and kind of like a leader and authority and things. Excuse me. And it's also the card of, femininity and beauty and realizing what beauty is and developing that in yourself in so many ways. So definitely like to see that for you, and I think that is good for sure. So let's just kind of move these around just a little bit so I can actually see everything together. Yeah, a lot of changes, a lot of turnaround, definitely on the right path. You're definitely doing the right things. I think really the only message for you is to pick one thing and stick with it in all areas of your life. You know what I mean? And like every single one. You know, basically for each category of life, if that makes sense. Pick one thing, stick with it. Pick one thing, stick with it. That will probably help you out more. Becoming more disciplined, the orderliness, like I said, all that comes up here. A lot of endings, definitely a lot of changes. I think a lot of things are going to be changing very positively for you. You know, this looks very, very positive. And it looks like you're going to be getting some things that you want as well. But definitely take some risks, work for it, like I said. And don't be afraid to start something new either. I mean, you know, don't be afraid to start new things and to get moving and things. But you have a lot of speed here as well. You know, that Knight of Swords that you had earlier. Then, you know, Wheel of Fortune represents a quick turnaround. 9 of Clubs up here is also a card of speed. You know, things kind of building up. 6 of Spades represents incremental improvements, but it also represents momentum. You know, 6 of Spades is the card of momentum as far as I'm concerned. It says things might be starting off slow, but then before you know it, you know, you're taking off. Things are moving forward much faster. So, yeah, I think things look really good. Definitely need to make some choices. Again, remember, answer is very clear. 4 of Diamonds plus a 3 of Clubs. Pick what is new, pick what is different, and pick the challenging thing as well. I think that will help you out the most. And, you know, push, and don't be afraid to push it at this time again, because you'll probably look back, you know, Empress, you know, you'll be looking back and your life won't be the same, and you'll be amazed. So definitely do that as well. But I think things look good. And also, again, if you're looking for love, if something happened love-wise, definitely love here on the cards as well, by the way. And great improvements in relationships. So again, if you're in a relationship, there are improvements here. Those improvements come from learning. You know, learning new ways to deal with relationships, reading books about relationships, whatever. You know, talking it out and things. If you're not in a relationship, if something bad happened in a relationship, or, you know, you lost a relationship or something, definite new relationships are here as well. So that's good. You know, definitely like to see that. Also, Friends looks really good. So, thank you again for ordering a reading. Really appreciate it. Hope this helps, and good luck.